Moves. Rumbleverse has a lot of them. From the basics to the special moves, the power moves, and the super itself, there's no shortage of ways to put the hurt on your opponents. We're gonna break down every special move in the game after we cover some basics and touch on some tips along the way. The most important part of any move in Rumbleverse is the attack priority. You've heard me mention it in every video so far, and that's with good reason. You can always get a reminder of this list on the pause menu, but commit it to memory now as it's a crucial part of the game. I'm gonna go over all these move types really quick, but if you want to jump to basics and combos or my breakdown of all the special moves, you can just skip ahead on the timeline below. Right from the drop, your basic chop attack is quick and it's gonna beat your opponent's attempts at a vicious grab. While you use more special vicious attacks than the basic one, don't underestimate its ability to do damage, especially if you have the Brainbuster perk, and it's going to cost you a lot less stamina. Then you have your special moves, which you get from magazines, which will beat out basic moves of the same variety, unless of course there are power moves, and that includes your uppercuts, your drop kicks, and your get up back fists. The get up back fist and the drop kick being moves that you always have access to. And finally, the super attack. You build up Superstar by collecting stars around the city and doing damage to other opponents. The super is also your chance to be revived if you have it when you get knocked down, so use it or save it wisely. Having that attack priority in mind is essential as you play the game, but so is knowing your moves. Your basic moves include strikes, grabs, and a variety of combos and situational attacks. You have your basic grab attack called a vicious attack. You can also charge this up for a slam attack. Next is your basic strike attack. This can be charged to stun your opponent, which can lead into a combo. Speaking of combos, your most basic one is hitting strike 3 times in a row. Note that that third strike can leave you vulnerable if your opponent is shielded, but you can cancel that combo anytime before that third strike. You can also go strike then vicious to do a spin kick, which does medium damage and pushes your opponent back in front of you. Or you can go strike vicious, which does a back toss combo, which puts even more distance between you and your opponent. Striking while dashing will do a drop kick. This is a high priority power move that's made even more devastating if you have the ballistic perk. Performing a vicious attack while dashing will see your player do an Irish whip, which spins your opponent around, hopefully leading them into a wall where they'll splat and you can follow up with combos or other attacks. Striking while in the air will cause you to perform an elbow drop. The higher up you are, the more damage you do. You can string 2 bounces together off of any surface to get even more height. As long as you land on another character, a bouncy surface, or a crate, it'll prevent your character from pancaking when they hit the ground. Elbow drops can leave you vulnerable though, so be careful using them around opponents that are on their feet. I won't go into the specifics of fights like effective dodging and attacking techniques, but let me know in the comments below if you'd like a video on how to win fights where I do go into those kind of details. In the meantime, I've definitely been impressed with the amount of information in the playground mode. It's certainly worth a look if you're serious about getting better at the game. But now, let's break down every special move in the game. I'm going to separate them into traversal, grabs, and strikes. Starting with traversal, we have a duo set of rocket moves. This includes skyrocket and rocket jump. Both moves are chargeable, with skyrocket sending you a bit farther, whether you're just tapping the button or charging up to use the move. These moves are great for getting up on rooftops, getting a better view of your surroundings, or for setting up huge elbows. Performing either rocket move in the air also prevents you from pancaking when you hit the ground. Our next and last set in traversal is a set of dive moves, including volley dive and dolphin dive. Both moves are listed as traversal and launchers, which means they will launch an opponent into the air if hit. I say if because this is a tricky move to take advantage of. Apparently, dolphin dive can be jump cancelled to create some just devastating combos, but I think this one will take some practice. As you can see, both dive moves do minimal damage, but dolphin dive is chargeable for a little more power. Much like the rocket moves, if you use the dive moves before you hit the ground, your character won't pancake. Next up are the grabs. These include most of your special vicious moves and slams. First up, we have the Crusher family of moves. These include Ruby, Emerald, and Diamond Crusher. While these are all labeled vicious moves without any other variations throughout, you will notice that they all do work a little bit differently. Ruby Crusher sees you slam your opponent in a short distance. Emerald Crusher almost doubles that distance. And with Diamond Crusher, you actually send your opponent away from you after you slam them into the ground. Diamond Crusher is one of the most powerful slams currently in the game. Then we have Good Azuna Drop and Great Azuna Drop. Definitely one of the coolest looking moves in the game. It gets a power upgrade from that green to blue status. You also notice Great Azuna Drop moves a little bit further out from the start of the move than Good, and is a little bit more powerful. The Azuna Drop itself is from a 1969 manga called Legend of Kamui. so don't tell me you didn't learn anything in this video. If you already knew that, comment down below. Next up, we have the tackle family of moves coming in basic, spear, and javelin varieties. All these moves are labeled as high damage and high risk, possibly due to the fact that you can take your opponent and yourself off the map with them. Just remember, if you do that, to make sure that you are the last two left. As you can see, the main difference here is how much damage they do and the distance that the tackle travels. Javelin tackle is another one of the most powerful moves in the game. Then we have the choke slam and the super choke slam. Both are vicious moves with high stamina damage, with the super version being chargeable. High stamina damage can lead to easier stuns and stamina breaks, and obviously more punishing follow-ups. And finally for grabs, we have the big and giant swing. Both are aimable launchers and arguably the best in the game. I did notice that the big swing seemed to veer to the left of where you were aiming, while giant swing seemed to go exactly where I was trying to aim it every time. The swing moves can be used in a variety of ways. Most notably, if you're near the edge of the map, you can almost guarantee yourself a KO with one. When you're not using them to throw other players off the map, they're still good for throwing them out of the ring or into walls for follow-up combos and to generally just keep the pressure on. And last up, we have our strike specials, starting off with the shot family of moves. This includes goal, wrecked, and Cosmo shot. These are all launcher moves that get more powerful as you move up the line. Goal shot sees you launching your opponent a short distance in front of you, while wrecked shot and Cosmo shot see you launching them up into the air before you kick them a bit further distance. You also notice that on Cosmo shot, the landing itself does damage to your opponent. Next up, we have Vicious Mist and Bad Breath, two of the quirkiest moves in the game. Vicious Mist is a vicious attack that stuns, and most importantly, it'll stun through your opponent's shield. Obviously, this can be used to then punish your opponent with combos and other moves. Bad Breath is a poison-based attack that knocks your opponent down and does poison damage for about 10 seconds. Bad Breath is also chargeable, and when charged, it can be used to hit multiple opponents. Then we have the Cyclone family of attacks. These come in Basic, Super, and Omega. These are all chargeable 360-degree attacks that end up launching your opponent into the air. As the Cyclone attacks go up in rarity, the base damage increases, as do the multiple hits you get from charging the attack. Each version also does slightly more damage off the opponent landing on the ground. Next is the Uppercut set of attacks. Uppercuts come in Basic, Bionic, and Omega. All versions of Uppercut are high priority power moves, with the Bionic and Omega versions being chargeable. Like Cyclone, Uppercut does multiple smaller damage, ending in a finishing blow that launches your opponent into the air. I was having a hard time telling if Omega Uppercut's charge version did that much more damage than the base version, but maybe I can break those numbers down here.
296! Think I was gonna count that shit, motherfucker!
Then there's the Sumo Slap set of attacks, coming in Basic, Poison, and Super. All three Sumo Slap attacks do high stamina damage, increasing the likelihood of that stamina break. Poison Sumo Slap requires that the final blow hit to do the poison damage, and it lasts for about 8 seconds. Super Sumo Slap is also chargeable for even more power. Next is Super Kick and Super Duper Kick. Both attacks are chargeable, with Super Duper Kick acting as a launcher. As you can see, there's a damage increase with Super Duper's charged version, sending your opponent back even further. Lastly, we have Punchline. This comes in both Basic and Atomic versions. Both attacks are labeled as slow and high damage, with Atomic also having an area of effect around the Punch Blast. Don't let that description fool you though. Neither attack is as slow as they make it sound, and they are both absolutely devastating when they connect.
Let's go!
Atomic Punchline is another one of the most powerful moves in the game.
Dude, this punch is insane.
And that's currently every move in Rumbleverse. Let me know what your favorite move or combo is down below. Next time I'll take you through some strategies to do high damage and take out a quarter of the lobby, as well as getting into some more advanced fighting mechanics. Until then, check out my full beginner's guide if you haven't yet and you need it, or be sure to check out my full perks guide here. Until next time, I'll see you at Billboard. I really wanted to win with the punch though. New record, 12,000 damage. Oh, so close to 10 limbs. So close, almost took out a quarter of the lobby.
Get the f*** out.